Hey guys, it's Ashley with My Soul on Fire, and today I am so excited because I'm going to be doing a Chevron tumbler. And Chevron's one of my favorite tumblers to do these days because I just feel like no matter what, they always turn out so beautifully. It can be slightly time consuming, but it's not that bad. To do this, I'm going to be using a 20-ounce skinny hog tumbler. One of the reasons I really like to use this type of a tumbler, and even like the fat hogs, the ones that aren't tapered, is because it's just a lot easier putting the pattern, your Chevron pattern, on when it's not a tapered cup. And I just really like the end result. I like the look of it. It just looks really stunning to me. But you are more than welcome to use whatever cup you see fit for this. It is not impossible to do this with a tapered cup. Many people do it and succeed, and it looks beautiful. I have done it before. It is just not my preference to use that kind of a cup. All right, that being said, let's move on to the product that we're using. Okay guys, so the glitter that we're going to be using today is not the same glitter that I am typically using. This is a new set of glitter that I received in the mail from the company Arteza, and it is a set of 54 glitter jars. I'm really excited to check this out. I've been looking at the colors and playing around with them a little bit since I got this, and I am in love with some of these colors. I love this company's mission because this company's mission is simply making art affordable for everyone on every budget, and I love that. So I'm posting some links below to their websites for US and UK so that you can check it out for yourself and you can really see there's a little something for everyone. Their prices are really amazing and affordable, and their products that I have used so far, I have not used every single thing that they sell, but the products that I have used so far have been really awesome. So that being said, let's break into this box here. Before I open it, I am gonna say I absolutely think this is going to be amazing for people that have never done a tumbler before, people that are just getting started, or maybe somebody that's doing a project that needs lots of different colors and doesn't really want to break the bank. This here comes with 33 metallics, 11 holographics, 9 neon colors, and even a glow-in-the-dark glitter. So this is a really fun set. Now I'm going to open it up. I've already removed the colors that I'm using for today's project, which is all neons. I'm going to be having some fun with neons today. But I wanted to show you a little bit kind of what this company has. Let's see one that I might be able to get a good picture of. It's always hard to show glitter on a on a screen. This is the raspberry. It's a metallic, and I don't know if you can see that, but it's a really pretty color. It looks great. Let's see. Then we've got this here is the glow-in-the-dark glitter, and it does glow in the dark. It absolutely does. Don't think I didn't test this out right away. I actually thought about using it on my cup today, but I think I'm going for the white part. I think I'm going to use a little bit more of a holographic white. And then this one here, this is the Holographic Turquoise. You can see, I hope that you can see how beautiful that is. There's just some really gorgeous colors. This is the Holographic Blue. There's just so many awesome colors in here. And I really say, check it out. It's awesome. The colors are beautiful. I love this. The holographic black is really pretty. So let's kind of move on. Ooh, the iridescent bronze. Let's kind of move on to the colors that I am going to be using on our Chevron today. So for the Chevron, these are the colors that I've picked out. I may or may not use them all. For the white parts of the Chevron, I'm going to be using, it's called Snow White. And basically it looks just like a holographic white. It almost looks, it's so hard, and I know that you probably won't be able to see that on there, but it almost looks like a mixture of iridescence and holographic in there. It's a real pretty glitter. And then we're going to be using this Neon Lemon. And again, like I said, I might choose to eliminate some of these. I'm not sure. Neon Orange. Neon Mint. I love this color. I hope that you guys can really see how pretty that color is, because that's really cool. Neon Green. Neon Peach. This one's another real pretty color that I'm hoping you guys can really see. This, I think, is my favorite, the Neon Watermelon. I think that's my favorite. It's really similar to the peach, but it's definitely different. It's got different undertones to it. I don't know if you can see that difference in there, maybe if I move it around. But the watermelon, the Neon Watermelon, I think is truly my favorite. The Neon Hot Pink is quite beautiful too. This one here, the Neon Taffy Pink. And the neon, just the Neon Pink. All right, so let's get started. Okay guys, so I'm back, and I am now going to show you how we're going to be vinyling this. We basically put the vinyl on, it's just used as a pattern. For something like this, I'm gonna tell you, there have been times in the past where I will say to you, for something like this, you're gonna use a low quality vinyl. I'm not gonna tell you to do that this time, and this is why. I printed out something similar. It's not the exact pattern that we're using, but something similar on a piece of cruddy vinyl. This is what happens. This kind of vinyl, like this no brand vinyl that you'll get in giant packs, it's good for certain things. It's good for garbage vinyl, where you're lying down pieces that are going to be taken up a lot. But in this circumstance, with this kind of a pattern, it's just too much, and it tends to do this to your vinyl. So I do use a better quality vinyl for this pattern, which kind of stinks because you feel like you're kind of wasting a better vinyl, but it really makes a difference in the long run. For this, I'm actually using some Arteza vinyl. This is a 42 sheet pack of permanent vinyl, and it's got all of these different colors in it. Some of my favorites, there are, let me see if I can find them now. There's like a brushed silver in here that's really pretty, and there's a brushed gold like that too, and then there's matte silver and matte gold. But there are so many different colors that gives you a really great sampling of all of the colors that they have to offer. This, I just chose the brown because it's a color that I don't use as often, so I'm not going to miss it a whole lot. And I wanted it to be a darker, bolder color so that you guys could really see it well while I'm doing this. I'm just going to cut off this excess because it didn't take all of it. I'm going to use my Arteza tool here and the mat that it came with to help cut this excess vinyl off like that. Okay, so, and this tool here, you're going to see me using a lot in a lot of my videos. It comes with this mat, and it comes with 3 of these actually, with different types of grips. This one I use a lot to do like the rims of my cups, so you'll be seeing that a lot as well. And then it comes with all of these different types of blades, so it's just a really awesome set. And at first I was like, oh, I'm probably not going to use this that much. I have used this more than anything else that they sent me so far. So anyway, we are going to pull, hold on, I can save some of that too. Sometimes you get these bits of vinyl and you think to yourself, what am I ever going to use that for? But you know, you never know when you're gonna need like a little scrap. And to me, I know that it might seem silly to some of you, but that can be a useful piece of vinyl. You never know when you're gonna have like a little tiny bit of your design that just happens to be brown that you can use this little bit for. Always save it. Always save it. I have just a bucket full, not really a bucket, a little box full of these. So this is actually a pattern that I got. Now you got to remember, like I said, I like to use the skinny tumblers, but they are slightly tapered, not as tapered as some, but they are slightly tapered. It's almost, you can't even really hardly tell by looking at it. But I use this pattern that I actually purchased on Etsy from a boutique called So Cheeky. And I'm gonna pull this off here. And so you can see this pattern is slightly tapered, so it's gonna fit my skinny tumbler very, very nicely. Now, this is the only time you're gonna see me waste this much transfer tape for one thing ever. I'm going to use one giant chunk of transfer tape for this. And it hurts my soul to do it because I am very, very frugal when it comes to my transfer tape. I use it many, many times. However, this one instance, it's just way, way easier to do it this way. So I do it this way and I choke down the tears. Now let me get this pretty decent size. I don't want to waste my transfer tape, so I'm going to cut this down to size because, again, just like anything else, I can use odd shaped pieces of transfer tape. I'm going to, so I'm going to save this piece of transfer tape as well. Save, save, save when you're doing this. Okay, so now I'm going to show you how I do this. What I'm going to do is I pull back, some of my transfer tape and I pull it back just maybe about an inch out, and then I fold down this first bit here. Fold that down, so I've just got this little bit of transfer tape that's open. Now what I'm going to do, let me figure out how this is going to best fit. Is it going to best fit this way? Yeah, probably. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to lay it down nice and flat here like that. Just like that. That little bit is now there. And now I'm going to lift this up and slowly pull. You see I'm slowly pulling back on this part. And as I pull back, I'm just going to make sure that everything is laying flat. So pull it back a little bit more. Lay it down flat and keep on going. There we go. Yay, perfect. So that looks great. Now, I take any straight edge. I just happen to have these tweezers on hand. I don't even know what brand they are or anything. They just came with something that I got. And I'm gonna, remember, no sharp edges, but flat, hard edges to press this transfer tape onto the vinyl. Okay. Okay. So, here we go. So you'll see one end is a little bit wider than the other. The wider end is gonna go toward the top of your cup. The shorter end is going to go toward the bottom of your cup. So what I'm going to do here is going to take a rubber band I'm going to place this rubber band as perfectly, as perfectly down the center as I can. So I'm going to try, don't worry about this, I'll touch up all of this that I messed up. So you try and get this rubber band to show you. I look at it from the top and get it right down the middle. And I look at it from the bottom and get it right down the middle. Like so. And that'll help me kind of line it up. So kind of like that. Okay. This is like the hardest part for me, I swear. I can't ever get used to this, but I'm going to do my best to use that to keep me straight, except I've got it twisted. So let's try that again. This is almost good. That's about good down the center. That's about good down the center there. Okay. So now I'm going to try and line this up here. Can you see that? I hope you can see that. I'm going to try and line this up here so that I know that I am making a straight line with this vinyl. This chevron pattern is beautiful. Not easy. So now as I get it around to the other side, I'm gonna pop it off. Okay, so I'm back. I just really quickly went in and touched up some of these spots that you could see where I had yanked paint off. There are a couple different ways you could do this. You could choose one glitter color for each stripe, which is, I think there's 7 on these skinny ones. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then the rest, everywhere it's brown, it'll be white. But we could also just do a thing where we Mod Podge it all and then just do a pattern, not a pattern, but do colors in like an ombre all down. So many ombres going on. So I'm trying to decide which I would prefer to do with this. So if I do an ombre, it's going to be, you know, each one of these is probably going to have multiple colors in it going down. If I do just every one of these a color, then I am going to have to get rid of a couple of my glitter colors. So I'm just, you know, kind of him-hawing around here trying to figure out what exactly it is I'm going to do. So I've done some thinking about it, and I think I'm going to go ahead and do the ombre on this. So when I do the ombre, I do it like this. I have a stack of just plain white paper that I'm going to use to catch all of my glitter. I'm going to use my Mod Podge here. This is dishwasher safe Mod Podge. I always use the dishwasher safe unless I happen to run out. I have used other before, but I do typically use dishwasher safe, even though this is going to be under like how many layers of epoxy. I don't know, it's just something inside of me that says it's going to be in water possibly, although you should never be soaking these cups in water. Simply washing them, no soaking, and absolutely no dishwashers. But I get it because I feel like it adds an extra layer of protection. It's probably just me being ridiculous. So I forgot to get rid of the paper part on the top of this one, and when you don't do that, it tends to get pretty soggy. All right, so I'm going to dip this brush. I just get some really cheap brushes, like at Walmart or wherever, to do things like this. I should probably once again show you. This is, before I get started, I want to show you the order that I've decided to do these glitters in. They Those got out of order. In the ombre. So that is the order that I've decided to do them in. I think that they are stunning, and I hope that you can see these colors the way that I can see them here, which I know, I'm sure you probably can't. But these colors are just gorgeous. All right, so I'm gonna start this. Just putting a quick layer. You don't want, the one thing that you sure as heck don't want with this is clumps and streaks. Those will show in your glitter. Your glitter will not be smooth and it'll be gross. Okay. So now that I've got it on, I've got to hurry up and do this. I can't take my time. So I think I'm gonna start with the pink, maybe at the top. So when I do an ombre, I just start by shaking it on, and the closer I get to the other color, that's when I start to raise it up a little bit. So this first line is just gonna be thick. I'm gonna go over it again. Uh-oh, I missed my Mod Podge there. Okay, so first line is gonna be thick, and then I'm gonna raise it up as I go to make it sort of fade like that. Perfect, beautiful. Now I'm gonna move this, I shake it a little bit, and I'm gonna move this and start with my next color. My next color, that was the neon pink. Now I'm going to the neon taffy pink. And because this is up against this color, I'm gonna start really high up because I'm blending those two colors. So my first thing blends the two colors, and then I kind of do a nice blend of that in there. Perfect. Now I'm going to move on. I'm going to keep these open so that I can keep using them. I did not put as much of that neon pink. I'm sorry, neon taffy pink. Now I'm going to move on to one of my favorites. I don't know, it's a toss-up between this and the watermelon. This is the neon hot pink, and it's gorgeous. Again, I'm going to start up high, blend the two colors together here for the ombre effect. And because I'm just ombre on top of ombre, it can get a little tricky, but I feel like you have more control of an ombre higher up. I know that it sounds silly, but you really do, because you don't want solid big lines of this. You want control of the blend, if that makes sense. Okay, perfect. Next color, I'm gonna switch this out. And don't worry, because I'm not wasting these papers. There's just glitter on them. It'll come right off. And I saved the glitter and put it back in the tub again. Okay, now we're moving on to the neon peach. Neon peach is very similar in color. It's just gonna be kind of a cool blend here going on. And again, I'm just mixing it to that color. It's very subtle and beautiful. Perfect. Around. Good. Now I think my favorite, the neon watermelon. Yes, the neon watermelon. I love this color. Okay, again, start up high. This just has the prettiest sparkle to it. It's almost, I don't know, it's hard to like, it almost looks like there's a little hollow in it, but I don't think that there is. I think it's just like the way this, there definitely is some metallic in it. It's almost like an iridescent mixed with some metallic. Okay, so that's perfect. Oh, that's such a pretty color. Now we're gonna move on to the neon orange. raise it up high to get that blend going good. And now the neon lemon. Neon lemon up high again. Perfect. And actually, I think I might go straight from the lemon, skip the green and go straight to the mint, I think. Kind of really am digging this mint, and I don't think I have a whole lot of colors, like of room left on this. Well, no, I think I'm gonna put a little bit of the neon green. Yeah, and then I'll finish with the mint. Starting to dry up a little. Definitely gonna have to do a second coat here. Hold on, let me put just a little bit there. And now I'm gonna do the mint. Neon mint. And everything has dried up. Hold on. Let me add a little bit. And that's what second coats are about. The second coat is going to be the finishing touch. Okay. Go back in and put a little more green right here. This bottom part is definitely going to need to be touched up in the second coat a little bit, but it's looking really awesome, guys. Really, really pretty. Okay, so I'm going to let this, I'm going to let this dry a little bit, and then I'm going to go in for my second coat. Okay, going in for my second coat, and when I do my second coat, a lot of times I just use my Loctite. I made quite the mess with all of these pieces of paper. All right. Okay, I'm going to start over again. Neon pink and then taffy pink. And I just put some Loctite on here, and I'm just gonna go in and kind of do a double on it here. Perfect. And now the taffy pink. Taffy pink. Again, lift it high for that blend. Good. Hot pink. I don't know where my paper went for that. Oh, there it is. I found it. Hot pink. Okay. And now the neon peach. watermelon. What's down here? Okay, neon orange. Neon yellow, or lemon, I think it was, neon lemon. Whoa. Oops. It's a good thing I dropped most of that on the paper. I opened the wrong side of it. There are two sides to each one. One is a pour, and one is a shaker. Now the neon green. Perfect. And then, where'd the mint go? Here's the mint. The mint. Perfect. All right. This looks great. Okay, so here we are. I'm gonna give it just a minute or two to settle, and then I'm going to take the brown off. You don't want the brown to get glued to the cup. Okay. In the meantime, I'm going to take all of these shakers and refill them back up. Now you can see, you might be going, oh, that shaker's not gonna last very long. So the shaker was full, and now it's still pretty dang full. That really didn't use that much at all. So especially if you're using ombres, this isn't gonna be bad. Like this is how it looks before I put this back in it. And now I'm gonna put this back in it, and it is still pretty full. Where's one of my hooks?
Right there.
Where? Oh, that's a straight. Okay. All right, so now I'm going to peel the brown vinyl off. And it's taken off some of my paint, which was to be expected. Shoot, it might take off all the paint, I don't know. But I'll work with it. Whoop. Okay. And I'm just using like this little guy. It just almost looks like a dental pick. You can get these tools from anywhere. This one happens to be by Cricut, but you can get lots of different brands in these tools. And now, whoop, don't do that. Do not do that. Okay, so you gotta find the edges where it comes together like that, and then pull it off. It should come off in one thing, but I had to, my edges were almost perfect. So I had to cut it and make them match a little bit better. So now I'm going to pull this off. Okay, good. And I'm just going to keep doing this. Like I said, I'm expecting some of my paint to come off because for this I did opt to use my Better Permanent vinyl to assure I'm sorry, I lost my train of thought. I did opt to use some of my permanent vinyl because for this pattern it just works way, way, way better than the other stuff. Ooh. Okay. So I went back in and I just very quickly, actually with my Arteza acrylic paints, I went in and just touched up all of those areas. They don't have to be perfect, but you don't want it to look too different in color. I touched up all those areas that my vinyl pulled up. And now I'm going to do the in-between part. Got quite a little mess going on over here that I did not pick up. Okay. And that I'm going to use this Snow White to do. I battled back and forth whether or not I should have done the Snow White or the glow in the dark, but the color in this Snow White, I think I might have said this earlier, it almost looks like they mixed iridescent with holographic. It's interesting, I don't know, but it's a really pretty color and I just could not say no to that one. So for this part, I tend to use this little angle brush. It's, again, these are cheap brushes that I get, you know, in giant packs at, you know, like dollar stores and Walmart and stuff like that, because I'm essentially using glue on them. You know, I'm using my Mod Podge. So what I'm gonna do is I take this brush and I just very carefully, I have way too much Mod Podge on that, very carefully go in, paint my spot, and then take my glitter and pop it on. Good thing is that I'm doing my lighter color second, so it's not gonna, if it gets into that pink, you're not even really gonna see it and it's not gonna cause a problem. Okay, and I'm just gonna keep going around like that. Let's go to this one here. Now, the part that didn't match up perfectly on my cup is actually right here. There's some lines that are a little bit thinner. I don't know what happened. I've never had that happen before. I messed it up when I was rolling it, but that's fine. Because I'm gonna put a name decal on it, and I'm gonna put that name decal right over that. You're never even gonna see it. Okay. Perfect. Beautiful. Use this out of the jar. Pour this into something here. I'm going to cross-contaminate with this glitter right into my Mod Podge jar, and I don't want to do that, so I'm pouring that into another container on the side here. Okay. Perfect. Beautiful. I will probably not bore you by showing you all of this. I'll probably show you a little bit and then skip through, because who really wants to just sit here and watch me paint in these little spots for 20 minutes or more, depending on how long this takes me. I'm sure you don't. Boring. Okay. All right, so that's the first coat of the white. And I'm also gonna do the bottom of this cup, and I think I'm just gonna do that white as well. So for the bottom, I'm just gonna take a big brush and I'm going to go across the bottom really quick. Bottom doesn't have to be perfect. It's a bottom. Okay. And I'm gonna take that and I'm gonna go like this along the bottom. I'm sorry, you're not gonna really be able to see that well, but all I'm doing is putting this on the bottom. Perfect. Good. All right, now I'm gonna collect all of this extra glitter. Look at all of that I still have in there after using so much. I'm gonna let that, I'm gonna let this dry a little bit, then I'm gonna seal it, and I'm gonna go through and do one more coat of this white. And I'm gonna touch up any spots that might look like they need to be touched up in there. Okay? Okay, so here it is. I did my second coat of white on there, and I think it looks pretty good. Now I'm going to let this sit and dry. You want the Mod Podge to be completely dry, and those second coats take a lot longer to dry because you're coating it on top of glitter, so it holds in more Mod Podge. So let this completely dry. I actually am gonna leave mine overnight, and then tomorrow I will seal it and we will do our first coat of epoxy. See you then. Hey guys, I am back and it is time to put our first coat of epoxy on this. Basically what I did is I let this dry overnight so that the Mod Podge would set up really nicely, and then I gave it a really good couple coats of clear sealer to make sure that the glitter doesn't travel a whole bunch when I am putting this epoxy on. So I've already mixed the epoxy. I've shown on other videos in the past how to mix epoxy before. So if you're not sure how, you can always go back and watch one of those. I think I mixed it pretty well in maybe my glitter swirl and my the glitter swirl, and I think the hydro dip, I showed how to mix it pretty well in those videos there. So I've got this on my Moss Bros spinner. I usually have, I know that you guys will probably notice, I usually have like the silver tin underneath to catch everything. I am using all of them right now. I need more. So I just laid some paper down for right now to kind of catch this. But because I would normally put tin foil or something, I'm out. So this is my makeshift. What I don't normally do, I usually use like tin foil or one of the tin pans, and the epoxy will just kind of harden in there, and then you can just pull the whole thing up out of the pan and reuse it again. But yeah. Alright, so I'm just giving my epoxy one more little zhuzh before I get started here. And my spinner is going, and I'm going to get this started. Now, I did a full medicine cup of each part A and part B of my epoxy. I'm using Art Resin Epoxy. I'm doing a full medicine cup of each, and I hope that that's going to be enough. When you are going straight on like a Mod Podge glitter, you really do need quite a bit of epoxy because it sucks down into that epoxy. This isn't like an epoxy method where there's already epoxy mixed in with your first layer of glitter. This is 2 layers of glitter and paint, and I'm pouring epoxy on it, so it's just going to seep down into that. So I'm hoping that this is going to be enough for this one. It is a skinny, so shouldn't be too bad. And I'm just going to pour it on in streams like this. And kind of get it going here. Let it start to pour a little and move that. And it's doing really good about staying put right now. Those colors, gosh, this glitter is just really beautiful. And I do have to say too, I think I forgot to mention this before, I do have a 10% off coupon code. So I'm going to be putting that on the video itself, 10% off coupon code for any of these Arteza products. Any of the Arteza products you can get 10% off if you use my coupon code. I will be putting that, like I said, on the video and down below, along with the links to the Arteza and the products that I'm using today. Don't forget too, I will put all products that I'm using today. I give props to everyone in the bottom. And don't forget, I've still got that spinner coupon as well. All right, I'll put it all down below. This is actually working out really, really well here. Wow, the colors are just, oh, they're just looking beautiful with this epoxy on it. It just really always pulls out those colors in the glitter that might be dull from putting the sealer on. And this is just looking beautiful. I have done it on the bottom too. I'm making a bit of a mess. Done it on the bottom too, and we are good. And it's okay if you get it around the rim. I have a way of doing that. Some people put Vaseline inside the rim. There are lots of different things that people do. Some people like to tape it. This is just my preference. This is how I do it. If you don't like to do it this way, that's fine. Do it however you prefer, but that's how I do my rims. So it looks like, I don't think that I've got any spots that are still dull or not hit with the epoxy. So I'm going to now hit this with my heat gun. I will sometimes use a torch with this art resin because it does get pretty bubbly. In this case, I don't think I'm going to need the torch. It's not that bubbly. I did a pretty good job of mixing it, and you can't really tell on this pattern anyway, but I think I'll be good. Now, when I'm using the art resin epoxy, I do a lot of times, if it gets really bubbly, I have a 3 setting heat gun, and I will sometimes set it to the highest and then just move very quickly because it will singe and burn your epoxy if you're not careful. But most of the time I do use it on the medium setting. I'm going to start this on the medium setting here because I think that that's all I'll be needing for this one. And we're going to do this, and this is going to help even it out too. You're going to be less likely to have any lumps and bumps in your epoxy doing it this way. It just kind of thins it out a little bit and lets it spread a lot better. I always hit the bottom really quick. And then I'm just going to go one more turn around probably. Don't want to do too much. You don't want the epoxy to start pouring off the bottom in crazy amounts. You just want it to be warm enough to pour around that spinner. I'm sorry, to pour around that cup without falling off, but to make that really nice coat. I will say I'm really, really happy with how this turned out. I'm glad that I decided to go with the Snow White as the white on the inside. It's beautiful. And the holographic part of that glitter almost has like the neon tones to it. So it's just a gorgeous mesh of colors here. And I really hope that you're able to see some of that. If not, as always, I will post pictures of the finished product. Okay guys, so I am back. I've let this cure for a couple days and I have placed my name on it. Now after the first night, I woke up and there was a gnat, a beautiful present for me in my epoxy. A little gnat had laid on it, and thankfully I was able to pull it out. It's just for, you know, it's for my daughter. So not a huge deal. But it had fallen into the epoxy. I was able to dig it out, and it did leave a small little mark there. I tried to camouflage it by putting this vinyl over top. I didn't put it directly over top. I kind of put it right in here just in case it had a little bit of a ridge or anything. I did sand this. Anytime you're doing like a Mod Podge with glitter on top, most of the time you will need to sand it afterwards. Because it'll be just slightly gritty. There were only a few spots on this cup that had a little bit of a bump. It was actually pretty smooth, but I want to make sure it's completely smooth before I put my vinyl on, because I want my vinyl to lay flat and beautiful. And I mean, you don't want to put so many layers on it that your cup starts to look clumpy and weird. So I sanded it down, and we do like a wet sand on that. And now I am ready to epoxy it, now that I have placed my name. So I'm going to turn the spinner on, and I'm going to use my epoxy and start pouring it on. I do let my vinyl sit for a little bit. Sometimes even overnight. I did not have that kind of time right now because I'm on a time crunch to get this video posted, but I let the vinyl sit for a little bit. I typically do use a permanent vinyl, and I let it sit to really adhere well to the cup before I start putting the epoxy on. Otherwise, you can end up with a situation where you've got your vinyl popping up as your epoxy's curing, and it's not something where you're like, oh, well, the epoxy's on now, it's going to lay down. No, this can come undone, especially if there's little tiny pieces. This can come undone while it's curing, and it's a pain. It's a real pain to deal with. So just try not to let that happen. I'm going to get the edges really well. I always like to put a little bit extra on the edges just in case, because they can tend to be the roughest spots. And I like for my edges to be very nice and smooth. All right, let's see if I'm missing anything. I do have a little bit. I mixed up too much, and I had a feeling I was going to mix up too much. I do have a little bit left, but with my leftovers, and maybe I'll post a video on this at some point, with my leftovers, I use my little epoxy molds, and you can make things, you can make coasters, keychains, all kinds of things with the leftover epoxy. So it never goes to waste. Sometimes I'll just have, you know, like another cup waiting in the works, and I can use it on that. But in this case, this is my last cup of the night, so I will be making some sort of a mold with the rest of the epoxy. Okay, now because I'm dealing with, especially when you're dealing with this reflective surface vinyl, you definitely need to make sure you're getting those bubbles. And so I'm going to take my heat gun. It's just a Craftsman heat gun. I'm going to take my heat gun, and I am going to put it on the highest temperature to pop these bubbles. And you know, so many people have asked me so many times, oh, what temperatures are on your heat gun? And I'm like, I don't know, because a lot of heat guns come with just high and low. Mine comes with a high, medium, and low. And I'm always like, I don't know. I just realized, this is how oblivious I can be sometimes. I just realized that this one actually has the temperatures written on the side of it. Duh. So the low is 120 degrees. I don't really use that for anything. It does not help me. The medium is 800 degrees Fahrenheit, and the high is 1,000 degrees Fahrenheit. So for those people that have asked me in the past, and I've been like, I don't know. Yeah, it was written on the side of my heat gun the entire time, and I just neglected to read it. All right, so I'm going to put this on the high because I feel like it pops my bubbles best with this brand Epoxy. Let it get hot for a second first. Okay. And now you've got to move really fast if you're using it on the high level. Otherwise, just do it on the medium because you can burn this resin easily. So really fast, we're moving up and down, and I can just see all of those bubbles popping as I'm going. Go a couple times around here. Perfect. And now I'm going to get the bottom. Just a quick hit, don't want to burn it. And now I'm going to let it flow for a little bit. You do not want to keep on doing this. You will burn, you'll burn your epoxy very easily. And I'm looking and see it was hot enough to where those couple of blasts, that 2 rotations, moving really fast, got rid of all of my bubbles. It looks beautiful. If I were doing this on the medium setting, I know 800 degrees sounds really hot, and it is, but if I were doing this on the medium setting, I would have had to go more than 2 laps, and I still would have been stuck with some bubbles typically. So the high setting I have found does work wonderfully. So I am really, really happy with this cup. My daughter is super happy with this cup. I was going to keep it a surprise, but it's hard to keep things a surprise when you do videos on them, and she overheard that it was going to be hers. So it's not a surprise anymore. But anyway, this is it. This is the finished product. Of course, it will spin overnight, and then once it's not tacky anymore, it will come off and it'll cure for 72 hours. It's very, very, very important to make sure that you're curing your cups long enough. If you are not curing them long enough, you are going to run into a world of issues. And you might think that it is cured, you might think that it is hot and perfect and finished, but what you are not realizing is that just because the surface appears done and clear, it is not necessarily done on the inside. So if you are shipping this, especially to like a customer and in the heat of the summer and everything, if you do not let that cure for that full time, they might get it and it might have started to melt. It might have started to mold to like the bubble wrap or packing, materials that you have in there. You just never know. I actually had one time that I decided to use a day early, thinking, oh, it's absolutely fine. And I put it in my cup holder in my car, and by the time I got to work, it had indentations of cup holder in it. So it's it's imperative, especially when you're giving them to other people as gifts or selling them as a business, you need to make sure that this is curing all of the way. It's a non-negotiable, really. So yeah, don't forget, subscribe to my page, and then make sure you're checking out the links below for Arteza. I'm really excited about these products. I think that they look absolutely beautiful. I've got the links below to each one of the products that I used today, as well as links just to their site. I do have that coupon code that will be showing up on your screen again. And I will have that coupon code listed below as well for you to save on any purchases that you make from them. So, thank you so much once again for joining me, and I hope you have a great day.